Hello, Louie. First of all, let me say this. I want to thank you very much for your kindness and your thoughtfulness and your warmth for me. I appreciate it. I want you to know that it does not go unnoticed and it is appreciated very much. So, thank you very much. Now let's go on to your question. And let me read it so that people will know what you're asking me. Hi, Donna. Did Vernon think there was foul play with Elvis's death? That's the first part of the question. Yes, he did. I started working with Uncle Vernon in January of 1979, and in the office. His desk was right beside mine. And every day I watched this man come into the office, and it was like it was just an effort for him to even breathe. His heart was broken. He was devastated. And when Elvis passed away, for all intents and purposes, so did Uncle Vernon, even though he lived to June 26, 1979. But Uncle Vernon and I became quite close while I was working with him. We spent many hours just talking about all kinds of different things. And even though I always loved and respected him, I found a renewed love, a renewed respect for him because I got to know him so well during that time. And he was sitting there one day, and he had his feet up on the desk. And he was looking out at the gravesite, which is what he did every single time that he came into the office, because it had a big picture window in the office, and he had a pretty much of a straight line view from the office from his desk to Meditation Gardens. And every breath that he took seemed like it was going to be his last. He was sitting there in his chair. He had his feet up on his desk, and he was looking out toward Meditation Garden. And he said, I can't believe all these SOBs are up walking around, and my baby's laying out there dead. They've killed my baby. They've killed my baby. And at first I thought it was just, just his feelings of, knowing Elvis was not with us any longer. And he was so heartbroken and devastated by Elvis's death, as we all were. But you can imagine what it's like for a father to lose your only child. But he said, no, you're not understanding me, Donnie. And I said, no, Uncle Vernon, I don't. What are you talking about? And he said, I believe there's foul play involved in Elvis's death. I believe someone murdered him. And I was beyond shocked. And I said, are you serious? And he said, completely. And so I said, well, then we should call the police. And he said, no, we're not calling the police. I will handle this the way Elvis would want me to handle it. And he said, that'll be quietly and with family only. And so, I let it go. I didn't say anything else. And he just kind of sat there and just looked out at the Meditation Garden. So I didn't mention anything else about it. But it became lunchtime, and I always went back to my mom's mobile home back behind the house and behind the office and had lunch. And I told my mother, and she repeats this in her book, One Flower While I Live, what Uncle Vernon's suspicions were. She said, yes, I know. And she said, leave it alone. Let Vernon handle it the way he wants to handle it. Leave it alone. So I didn't say anything else, and I went on back to the office and did my job. And then that afternoon I went into Graceland, And I went into Grandma's room, and Grandma said, I was telling her, she said, yes, I know. But she said, let it go. Leave it alone. And let Vernon handle it. And so that's what I did. And that's the way we pretty much left it. So yes, he did believe that until the day of his death. Okay. Second part of the question. Did you ever spend time at Graceland and go upstairs? And I love you and love your show. Well, thank you, Louie. Same right back at you. Thank you much. Yes, I did. I mean, when Grandma, I started spending all my summers at Graceland from the age of 10, Grandma's room was upstairs, where Lisa's room ended up being. And so I was often upstairs. Now, as far as going into Elvis's room, it's like, out of respect and just common decency, you don't go in someone's room unless you're invited. So I didn't roam around in Elvis's room unless I was invited to be there. So, yeah, I spent time at Graceland. I remember one particular thing, when I was, I don't know, maybe 11 maybe at the time, and it's a funny thing, but I always wanted to be able to shave my legs, and my mother said I was too young. So when I went to Graceland that summer, I found a razor blade. Stupid mistake, but I found a razor blade in Grandma's drawer in the bathroom, and so I thought, well, I'll just shave my leg with it, and I ended up cutting pretty deep place in my leg. And I went and showed Grandma, and so she took me in the bathroom, and we bandaged it up and everything. And she said, "Don't do that again," which I didn't. That's what you get when you disobey your parents. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. And Louie, thank you for giving me this opportunity to tell you what the family believed and what Uncle Vernon believed. We all believed it. And so there you have it. Thanks so much.